directory of the best holistic and metaphysical practitioners to help you make your most informed choices. You can search metamorphosisconnections.com for classes, events, wellness and life coaches, plus metaphysical products and shops. You can also search for a wide array of healers from all modalities, including EFT, sound healing, energy healing, light therapy, ancestral healing, shamanic healing, reflexology, past life regressions, hypnotherapy, yoga, and more. And if you're not sure where to start, the search feature on metamorphosisconnections.com is tailored to help both those who know what they are looking for and those who are just starting. Come explore the possibilities for your higher self by visiting metamorphosisconnections.com. Their experienced practitioners can guide both beginners and those that are already on their spiritual journey. That's metamorphosisconnection.com, your link to direct you on your spiritual transformation.
Are you one of thousands of individuals who know you have psychic abilities but don't know how to tap into your higher self? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who offers classes that can help you reach your goals. Refined Divine holds classes Monday and Thursday at her 2 locations and via Zoom. Classes consist of manifestation, learning psychic abilities, shadow work, and healing trauma. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
This is Psychic Medium Deb. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for partly cloudy skies tonight with a low around 11, Saturday sunny with a high near 33, and Sunday partly sunny with a high near 40. Since 1984, Cafe Latte has been serving up the freshest baked goods and modern comfort food in a cafeteria setting. Their menu is prepared with the best ingredients available. Cafe Latte is a leader in sustainable dining, composting their food and paper waste along with recycling everything they can. Located off Victoria and Grand, more at cafelatte.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story. This is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
Casual Friday. Casual Friday. Casual Friday on GhostBox Radio.
And this is GhostBox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakun, and this is Casual Friday on GhostBox Radio. You know how it goes. We just kind of see where the evening goes to. We have a question of the week. We have stuff we want to get to. But don't forget, if there's something that you want to talk about tonight, go ahead, put it into the comments. You can put it in the comments, and we'll do our best to get to it. Or you can call in 952-946-6205. That's 952-946-6205. And the person who will be happy to answer the phone and talk with you and then get you on the air is none other than Adam himself in Eden Prairie. Adam, how are you doing tonight?
Good evening. Hello. Doing well, because we're about to thaw out here in the Twin Cities. Listening to the forecast ahead of time, we're supposed to be in the 30s tomorrow.
I know, right? That's shorts weather. You know that, right?
Oh, man, that's shorts. That's T-shirt. I might even go try and get a tan.
You going to do any grilling?
Actually, Sunday I do plan on grilling.
Good. Very good. Very good. I will be telling you about my weekend plans in a second, but my goodness, yeah, that's exciting stuff. And we were just talking before we got on the air about the ridiculous wind that's blowing. I mean, when Adam said that we may not have any snow by the end of the weekend, I thought he meant because it's going to all blow like into, I don't know, like into Wisconsin or something, because it looked like that my apron and everything ended up like getting like a covering of snow. It was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, the wind's been kind of nasty around today. The security camera out in front of the station moved a couple of times, and when that black and white camera moves, oh my goodness, does that give you like an instant like head jarring headache when you happen to be looking at it?
Right, right. And it's sad because we can't say it's paranormal. You know, that's what we all want, of course, hoping that it is. And in fact, it's just the wind.
Yeah, unfortunately, can't call that one the ghost of AM 950.
No, nor is it because we know it's colder out. We know it's not a lizard that is like moving the camera either, which in the summer may not be completely science fiction. So
True.
so it's got that going. Now this weekend, as I have mentioned earlier in the week, I am going to be this weekend over at Charvinity Fairs. There are two that is happening this weekend, February 22nd, which is also known as tomorrow. We're going to be at the Doubletree by Hilton Minneapolis Airport Hotel. That is 2020 American Boulevard. That's where we normally always are. And then Sunday, the 23rd, is at the Sheraton Minneapolis West Hotel, 12201 Ridgedale Drive, Minnetonka. So one's in Bloomington, the other is in Minnetonka. Go to charvinityfairs.com and you will be able to get all of the information, including all of the practitioners that are going to be up there this weekend. All the deals, it's $5 to get in to the fair itself. Maria Shaw will be there, of course, and you can get tickets for classes at mariashaw.com. Once again, you're thinking about going out there, go to charvinityfairs.com. It's a great way to know what the weekend is going to look like. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to have a table out there, so please come by, pick up a business card, sign up for our newsletter, say hi, share a paranormal story with me, and we'll just have a great weekend. So that's my plan. So I don't think, Adam, I'll be grilling this weekend, but that's okay. There'll be plenty of time for me to grill.
You'll have plenty of time to do that.
Plenty of time. Come
Now,
on.
with this being at two separate locations this time.
Yes.
Now, how is that going to work for someone like you who doesn't like to travel at all?
Yeah, right. That's it. I mean, that's just it. I mean, even when I have it set up for a couple days, I not often say to people, I said, should I just leave this stuff behind? Because I don't want to tear it down.
Exactly.
So I mean, I am famous for saying that, and people laugh like I'm kidding. I'm like, anyone want a computer monitor? You know, that's kind of where I'm at with this stuff. So no, that will be truly the test of my endurance, because I have none. And we'll see how that works out, but it's worth it. It's going to be a lot of fun out there. You might be like, if you go to both days, you might see like one day it's going to have my banner and have a computer monitor with video playing. And the next day it's just going to be like a couple cards on a table. You know, that might be how the evolution of my table looks at this event. So,
well, as long as you get a good deal for that monitor.
right. Well, you know, you probably could have saved money on the monitor in the room behind you there if you would have known. Just held out till Charvinity Fairs, and might have been able to get a decent monitor from me.
Yeah, if I could have held out for just 2 more weeks.
Yep, just 2 more weeks, you would have had a decent. You know, it's funny because it travels with me, and it travels in a way that monitors shouldn't travel. So the fact it works at all is pretty much a blessing. You know. Because you know, you just kind of load up the truck and you go. You know, it's like, okay, here we are. And it's like, oh, there's a little nick in the monitor now. Oh well, you can still see what's going on. You know, that's kind of the, you know, early when I used to do this, used to have like wrap them in blankets and tape in and make sure everything is really, really, you know, good. And then somebody who I trusted had it like with that monitor like on a wagon, and they were moving and it just fell off and broke. And now, so like the new monitor, all I'm doing is just throw it in the back. We'll test the endurance with this monitor. You'll see how well it works. So yeah.
Well, again, as we said earlier tonight before we went on the air, things aren't broken, and I didn't do it. So
that's right. That's right.
So with the Charvinity Fair this weekend,
yes,
you've had one heck of a week building up to the Charvinity Fair.
Yeah, I did.
You were insanely busy this week.
This was, I mean, you know, it's been a busy month, but this week in particular was kind of an eye opener for me, because I talk so much to people about my spirit box work that I you know, used to do these sessions on Facebook. And for those of you who hear me talk about but don't really know what that means, and maybe not care either, but I'll still tell you anyway. You know, these things are like that piece of paranormal equipment, spirit box. I use that to bring through people's loved ones. And then we also use them to cross over spirits who want to cross. And I hadn't done that in months and months and months. And then I was on a friend's show on Wednesday, Debbie Romero, and her show is called Transcend with Debbie. And we were doing this, and she's like, "Can you do Spirit Box?" And I'm like, I haven't done it in a while, but we'll see what happens. And as soon as we started going on, we got some of her relatives came in, and then this very clear woman comes through. She goes, "Need help." And like, okay. And I just was like, because I didn't want the whole interview to be Spirit Box, I kind of jumped to the chase, I guess. And I was like, do you need crossing over? And some other spirits coming through, you hear, yes, please, stuff like that. So I asked, how many spirits would like to be crossed over? And the number was 2,000 that they came through. I personally do not believe that is actually accurate, but it was it was pretty credible. So we do a crossing over, and this show that I'm doing with Debbie, her audience is nothing but mediums. It's nothing but, so they're all being blown away by the energy. The energy is it's so beautiful. It's so big. And you're just getting like, people are like responding like, I can't control my tears. I can't control, it was just so much. And I clicked because I hadn't done it so long. Like, I have to do this again. I have to now do this again. I haven't done it. So then Thursday, in place of Myth or Mystery, I did a Spirit Box session on Facebook, and we had a number of people there. And like, one of my favorite answers last night was, I said, how many spirits are in the room right now? And the response from one spirit was, why would I know? It was like, why would I know? And it was so awesome. Like, that is a great response, because normally you get like 3, 10, you get numbers, and there's some Weisenheimer. He's just like, why would I know? I don't know, but someone who is, and I feel I can share this because she was on the broadcast last night, who has been listening to us for a very long time, back in our Sunday slot. Bridget, her husband had passed away a month ago. And of course, I knew she was going to ask if Jim could come through. And I always say, I'll do my best. And I said, Jim, can you come through? And then she's like, call him Jimmy. Like, okay, Jimmy, can you come through for your wife Bridget? This is what we get. We get Bridget, and that was game over at that point. That, I mean,
chills. Oh, that's
right?
awesome. That is awesome.
Unbelievable. And he came through a couple more times for her, but it was just like, wow. It wasn't like Bridget, it was like Bridget, but it was there, and everybody heard it. It was incredible. It was just so rewarding that, it just, Bridget said in the comments, she goes, I found closure. And, I'm doing this show, and I love doing this show. It's a gift to be able to have this opportunity, but it also keeps me away once in a while for some of that other stuff, because there is so much to do to put this together. And to be able to kind of go back to my roots and do it the way that I wanted to, to do a Spirit Box session and jump in. It's like, I forgot where I belong, and I need to make room for this. And hopefully every Thursday, if not every other Thursday, that I'm going to do this going forward, because it was incredible. And there is something that it's kind of odd that after the session, immediately I had a sore throat, which is really odd. And just, I mean, I'm kind of figuring out what all that's about, but it was, my gosh, what a privilege to be able to get voices to come through and actually be able to help people with it as well. So that was incredible, and that stuff was really incredible. And so I just got to say real fast, and I don't normally call people in the comments that just say hello, but Carol, well, it's good to see you too. You saw that, Carol? Okay, I'm glad to hear that. Brad, we did the live spirit box last night, Mr. Webb, and I feel like back in the old days when we had you always on and stuff and watching and stuff. I just wanted to say you were missed last night. And once again, not to turn this into, this like Greg can't move on, but I did have to give a moment to also pay tribute to my co-host that's no longer with me. And that was a lot of fun, just to kind of, because it was my first time doing this without Linus, and Linus was always a big part of that. So it was a very emotional and a very good evening. So I enjoyed it a lot. And even the folks who were in here last night, they're commenting on how much they enjoyed it. You weren't there, Adam, but that's okay. We will, whatever, Adam.
I was not there, but with Wednesday doing Debbie Romero's show, and then Thursday, one thing I've learned from being here at the station, doing this show for 3 years now, if Debbie Romero asks you or tells you to do something, you do it because she knows. And she asking you to do this obviously re-sparked your love for it. Something personally I think you've been needing to do for a while.
Yeah.
But I am so glad you got back on there Thursday night, and I can't wait to be able to tune in to watch you do it again, because nobody rocks a spirit box like you do. It is literally an extension of you.
Well, that's very kind of you to say, and it was a lot of fun to do it. And yeah, having Debbie ask for me to take part was an honor, because you don't, how do I say this that's not sounds dumb. Basically, when you do this stuff, you wonder if you're really what you think you are. Okay, if that makes any sense. So like with the mediumship and stuff like that, and I've really warmed myself to that side of things over the past 3 years or so. Good people like Shar have always been very good to promote and be a support and everything. And Debbie just bringing me on a program that her whole audience is intuitives and gifted spiritualists and mediums and stuff, and they're all feeling what I'm feeling is good validation to know that I am not making this up in my mind. You know what I mean? I mean, it sounds silly to say because I've done this long enough that I should know that, but it's still always kind of is in the back. And that's a hurdle I need to get over, because I think that's going to really open me up more once I get past that, that imposter syndrome that I still tend to have on occasion. So.
Well, hopefully Wednesday and last night were both very positive validations for you to actually start doing this some more, because they're quite enjoyable.
And for those of you listening and want to know how to see it, if you're interested, GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun on Facebook. That's a great place to go. I don't put this on the AM 950 Radio Facebook page because that really doesn't apply. Just like that, to me, that's kind of weird actually to have it there. But we do. I do it on my Facebook page and my own personal page, and we got a ton of viewers last night. I mean, I hate to say it, a lot more than watched this show on Facebook. That's for sure. That's a bummer. When you put so much work into it, it's like, that's a bummer actually, but whatever. So let's do this, Adam. I want to go ahead and take a break. There's more stuff we want to talk about. I appreciate us kind of talking about the spirit box. I'd love anything that's on your mind. Please put it in the comments. Give us a call, 952-946-6205. This is Casual Friday, and you're watching GhostBox Radio on AM 950.
Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
If you own a holistic or metaphysical business and are looking to expand, then you need to be listed on metamorphosisconnections.com. It's a network where you can grow with like-minded practitioners and reach new clients. Metamorphosisconnections.com is an online directory you need to list yourself and your business. Our platform makes it easy for you to create listings of your products and services, and you can also choose to list your classes, events, and so much more. Metamorphosisconnections.com helps you create weekly and monthly promotional ads targeted towards your potential clients and promotes them for you via social media and newsletter. There are clients searching for your specialty right now. Let us help them find you. Start your listing today so you can share your own unique gifts and talents by finding the level of membership that best fits your needs. Let us help you reach your clients that are searching for what you do. Visit metamorphosisconnections.com and sign up today.
Greg Bakun here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
Casual Friday. Casual Friday. Casual Friday on GhostBox Radio.
All right. Now, are you looking for something to do this weekend? We talked about Charvinity fairs, so you got to do that both Saturday and Sunday. But if in Twin Cities, you do that, and this weekend in the evening, you go to Lilliput in Coon Rapids. They have a new escape room called The Bunker. The story behind the room is that you're in with a group of survivors during a zombie apocalypse. One of you ends up getting bit, and you're racing against time to get into the government bunker to find a cure and escape before the bunker AI locks you in forever, okay? Now, the price for this, and to me, this sounds like a lot of fun. The price for this is $30 a person with a 6-person max. Recommended age is 10 and up. An adult of at least 18 must be present with all groups to sign waivers. I can already tell you that I will probably be the one bit and die, but that's okay. To get more information, go to lilliput.net. That's LILLIPUTT.net, and go out there and support local business. And that sounds, Adam, to me, that sounds like a lot of fun, quite frankly.
That sounds like a blast. That sounds like an episode from The Walking Dead. You get to play like The Walking Dead in real life. That sounds like a blast.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. I want to check that out. And then, gosh, they're not going to be too far away from opening for mini golf again, I would think. Because it's in a week, we're going to be in March. I can't believe that already. That's coming by very quickly.
Yeah, calendar is really creeping up on us. And when they hopped on towards the end of last year, before the mini golf shut down for the season, and they still had the escape rooms, I didn't even know we had a putt-putt place near the cities. Oh. So me, the wife, the kid, and one of the kids' friends went up there before they closed down the putt-putt for the season. I got my butt whooped by everybody, but it was a blast.
I think you and I have probably the same range of skills when it comes to anything sporty like. So we would lose together, brothers in arms.
Right on. Let's
lose together. Let's see. We got a lot of comments coming in. I'd like to read. Then I'd like to do a question of the week for those who are interested in such things. Let's see here. Debbie has been posting about they had a lot of people watch our show when I was on Transcend with Debbie. That was great. Thank you for that. Carol says, please do it again on Thursdays for the Spirit Box session. It'd be such a wonderful way to reach out to so many. That's the plan. So hopefully that we can do that. And I set up my area that I do that so that it's kind of turnkey, so I don't have to like start from scratch. every week. Brad says you have a way with spirits and a spirit box. No one could do a session like you do, Greg. That's very kind. I disagree. I mean, I enjoy what I do, and there's a lot of people who do it well. So thank you for that. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. What else do we got here? Courtney is very kind. No one really does Spirit Box live like that. I have only come across you and one other couple that called Twisted Ascension, and I don't know where they went, but they were doing it from locations. That's cool. Leanne says, it's good to see your smile, Greg. I don't know where you saw a smile. That's up for contention. That's all I'm gonna say. It's not one of my favorite things to do. We actually got back our pictures, station headshots, that Adam has one as well, and it's funny because there is not a picture. I told Dallas, the photographer, I said, there's one thing I will not do, and that is smile. And she's just like, okay, weirdo. And I got the pictures, and sure enough, I'm not smiling, and I'm not gonna say I look great. That's ridiculous. She didn't have much to work with, and she did very well. All the pictures are very good. The one of you, Adam, I don't think you've seen yet, but I'll send it your way at some point. I like it, actually. It's an action shot for you, actually.
Yeah, that was an interesting afternoon here at the station when Dallas was in taking photos, because I'm like, nope, I don't need or want my photo taken. And then I'm board hopping one of the afternoon shows here at AM 950, and I look in front of me, and all of a sudden there's Dallas with a camera pointed at my face.
She's right up your grill. She
was.
She really was. Yeah. I mean, I'm just like, well, he said he didn't want that, but
and the sad thing is I didn't even notice you or her come in. She was like a ninja.
Oh yeah.
And just kind of like parkoured her way through all the junk we have behind the board. I'm just like, oh crap, camera.
Really, it's pretty incredible how she was able to kind of get in and get out. And she was very kind enough when I did those presentations at Council Room the last weekend of January into first weekend of February. She was there Saturday, and what I consider very early, 10 a.m. when I did my presentation, taking pictures of me at my presentation. I mean, that was really above and beyond. And I once she's ready and has the information, I'm gonna make sure everyone knows how to get a hold of her for like shots and stuff. She's incredible, really, really enjoyable. So Wade Kirby says that was such a great session last night. Can't stop talking about it. That makes me feel good. Thank you, Wade. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Should we talk a little bit about question of the week? We haven't got to question of the week last couple of weeks because we've been, action packed with important information like the stuff I eat on Fridays and grilling that maybe we can talk. And we also had Deb calling in and Shar last week calling in. That was double duty right there. That was a lot of fun. So let's see here. Anything you want to add before I get to question of the week?
No, let's roll with it.
All right. First of all, folks, if you have an answered question of the week, feel free to put it in the comments, and also feel free to call in if you want. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Question of the week this week is based on Monday. I had Sarah Jane from Get Haunted on the program. We're talking about women in the paranormal, and it led me to wonder what subject in the paranormal do you think gets overlooked or needs to be talked about more? Okay, what subject in the paranormal do you think gets overlooked or needs to be talked about more? And Adam, I know that you answered. Why don't you go first?
I feel in the paranormal world, cryptids outside of Bigfoot tend to get ignored the most.
Yeah.
Because you have so many that, you can try to either debunk or try to find. Like, for example, Ogopogo in Vancouver, British Columbia, out of Lake Okinawa. Most likely a sturgeon, but still a cool mystery. Then, you've got, things like the moa. That's down in New Zealand. A lot of people think that there are some dinosaurs that survived extinction and are living in New Zealand. That needs, I think those type of things need to be out there, or more like the Loveland Frogman out in Ohio. There are so many like smaller cryptids that no one ever seems to talk about, because it's always Nessie or Bigfoot or
Yeah.
the Mothman or Dogman or something like that. But there's a lot in there. Is the majority of them likely folklore? Yeah, probably. But I do think those also need some attention.
Well, and the idea too about these lesser knowns, they're very regional, aren't they? They're very different parts of the country or the world. And one of the things that when I had Chad Lewis on a couple weeks ago, I had asked him, because he's like, there was this one creature that we had that he was researching, that like everything about it ended in like 1890 or something, no more information whatsoever. And it's like, I think it's a good example to remember that these creatures don't necessarily need to exist forever. Everything dies out eventually. I know that's really super positive, but it's true. Everything dies out eventually. It could just be that whatever this was died. It doesn't mean that they have to live forever. It doesn't mean that, I personally don't believe the Loch Ness Monster is alive at all. Probably lived, 1,000 years ago, 500 years ago, but not now. That's just my take on it. And I think that's a good example of what that could possibly be.
Yeah, or like the lizard man at Skateboard Swamp. There were reports. It turns out, a lot of folks had kind of, what's the best way to put it? Embellished the story for tourism, but the stories of the lizard man went on well before anything started in Lee County for tourism. So that is a very good example. There could have been something there, passed away. Oh, well, it was there. Let's bring it back to life, mythically.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. We have Leanne says, let's see here. Let's go. We were talking about New Zealand and stuff. Let's go to New Zealand. I have a guest from New Zealand next week on Tuesday, talking about haunted New Zealand, haunted Auckland. So tune in for that. Courtney says, agree with Adam. Come on, enough of that, right? Let's stop. Let's nip that in the bud right now. But she says Wendigos. And we talked with Chad Lewis about Wendigos as well. You might want to check that out. But you're absolutely right. I would love to get some native folks on to talk about it. Well, if they're really into it, they won't talk about it. Let's put it that way, because it is a forbidden name. It's one that brings Wendigos. That's what they believe, and so you got to be very careful about that. And I've just said it now 3 times. So there's that. The question is, what subject in paranormal do you think gets overlooked or needs to be talked about more? Let's see here. Wade says the feeling of going alone on a subject as the world feels against you and how to stick to your truth. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Wade, I don't know if you saw, I was watching your guys' broadcast, your Nesper broadcast earlier in the evening. It was really interesting listening to Tony Spera talk about Ed and Lorraine and when they first met. But it's absolutely right. We live in a situation with paranormal, not all, but there are some. There's people who believe so strongly about certain things that if you are going against their narrative, and this is no different than anything else in the universe, right? But if you're going against their narrative, it's easier to shout someone down than to maybe be like, oh, well, let's talk about it. Let's see what your thought is, what my thought is. And one of my favorite examples of this was Bobby J. Gallo, who I've had on the show before, and he's out east, and he's a great guy. He is, I had him on the show once, and he did not believe in anything spirit box. He just thought it was not a valid piece of equipment. And he and I, on the show, we discussed it. It wasn't like, because normally when I have people against the spirit box, I've had some people be very rude to me about it, very rude about, if you really consider yourself a paranormal investigator, you wouldn't be using that device because it's just a radio, and I can give you 100 reasons why what you're hearing is actually not spirit. And sometimes it's not worth having a discussion about. It's just, okay, you can go your own way. But Bobby and I we sat there and we just talked through it on the show. Why I think it's great and why he doesn't really agree with it. And afterwards, he sent me a note about a few months later. He said, I just had one of the most amazing experiences using the Spirit Box. And he also said, I'll tell you also, I've never been on a show where somebody actually has a different point of view, but listened to what I had to say and we had a conversation about it instead of being offended by not each other having the same beliefs or having different beliefs or whatever. And, so like Wade says, going alone on a subject, it's really tough. And it's really difficult to, you really have to stand up for something. And it's really, I know it's tough in almost any field, but this one seems much more so. So, yeah, that's a good one. I like that. There you go. I was just reading. Wade was sending more. Yeah, I mean, and what Wade says, everyone has an opinion and are always willing to prove you wrong. It's true. As Mr. Warren told me, Wade, you won't convince everybody about your belief. It's not that they are wrong. They just have not had your same experience. And I absolutely. And, I think that's just it too. I see people who will come up to me with pictures and they're so excited about what they get. They're not part of a team. They're not part of anything else. And not that I will it's tough because sometimes you could debunk something, but maybe it's not worth debunking, because here's the thing. If a picture is taken and it gives somebody, it resonates with them, and they might think it's a loved one or something, but in fact, you look at it and you can see clearly it's somebody just walking by really fast across the screen and they're blurred. Is it really worth crushing somebody to show that you have some paranormal prowess and that you are able to, debunk something? And it's like, no, in my opinion, it's not. Others might have a different opinion, and that's fine. But if someone is really enjoying that photo, it reminds them, it connects them to somebody who's passed. I'm not gonna be the one to ruin it. Even to me, it might look like this is not what you think it is. But what's the harm? Because maybe that was the purpose anyway. At the end of the day, maybe Spirit made that picture be looking that way, even though if it wasn't Spirit, because it knew it would resonate to that person. Does that make any sense? Did that make any sense there, Adam?
Yeah, that actually made a lot of sense, because working on this show, I have friends, believe it or not, but they will actually just send me their stuff that they think that they've caught.
Yeah.
For me to look at. And a friend of mine, he sent me a video from one of his cameras from his place about a month or so ago. And I would have debunked it right away as dust particles.
Yep.
He has the strongest feeling that it's his father coming back to visit. So my reply to him was like, that's a very good theory. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Even though it's like, I know what it is because I can see the ceiling fan in the background going, but it's like, Jeff, you want this to be your dad? For some reason, this photo from your camera speaks to you. Just let it go that way.
Absolutely. And we're all hoping that Jeff's not watching tonight. So
I doubt he
meanwhile,
it's too late. It's 11:41 where he's lit.
Meanwhile, Jeff at home. Oh,
yeah. Oh, my phone's going off. I'll crap a show.
Yeah. Boy, we're getting through this very quickly here. Let's go ahead, take another break. There's a lot more answers that we got earlier from our question of the week, but you are more than welcome to keep putting more into the comment section. This is great. Once again, Wade, I really appreciate that. And we have a lot more to get to. It's Casual Friday here. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950.
Reach your highest level of consciousness and well-being with metamorphosisconnections.com. Metamorphosisconnections.com is an online directory of the best holistic and metaphysical practitioners to help you make your most informed choices. You can search metamorphosisconnections.com for classes, events, wellness and life coaches, plus metaphysical products and shops. You can also search for a wide array of healers from all modalities, including EFT, sound healing, energy healing, light therapy, ancestral healing, shamanic healing, reflexology, past life regressions, hypnotherapy, yoga, and more. And if you're not sure where to start, the search feature on metamorphosisconnections.com is tailored to help both those who know what they are looking for and those who are just starting. Come explore the possibilities for your higher self by visiting metamorphosisconnections.com. Their experienced practitioners can guide both beginners and those that are already on their spiritual journey. That's metamorphosisconnection.com, your link to direct you on your spiritual transformation.
Greg Bakun here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information.
Casual Friday. Casual Friday. Casual Friday on GhostBox Radio.
And it is Casual Friday here on GhostBox Radio. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope that you consider joining us on Monday, as I'm going to have on Rob Young, and he's just starting a show on AM 950 called Masters of Mystery, and he's a mystery writer. He's also very big in the community of writers who write mystery. He's written paranormal as well. He's local. And I think that you all going to enjoy it. So please check it out. Tuesday, we're going to have on Mark Walbank talking about a couple of his books. And he, as I mentioned earlier, he's in New Zealand. So the show is going to be on Tuesday, the 25th. But he's going to be talking to us from the future on Wednesday, the 26th. I just love how that works. Wednesday, we're going to have Kedrick Olson on talking about spiritual divergence. So it's a great week ahead of programming. One thing that we didn't talk about coming up here, we had psychic medium Refined Divine Deb on. She was here with us on Wednesday doing one question readings, and we're talking about the stuff that she has going on this weekend. She is also very busy. She is going to be over at Cranberry Lodge over in Tomah, Wisconsin on tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Go check this out. The Holistic Healing Fair put on by who is it that's putting this on? Rooted team, your Rooted Holistic Healing and Wellness fairs. They are around. They're putting on tomorrow in Tomah, Wisconsin. A fair, and Deb is going to be the gallery speaker from 11 a.m. to noon tomorrow. The gallery reading is $25 a person. I've said this before. You have to get in a gallery with her. She's great, really very powerful, very good. You get a little bit of that with her one question readings. Imagine that on a very big level, and it's a very positive experience. So go out to Tomah, experience that. But then Sunday, she's doing a retreat over in Galesville, Wisconsin. She is doing a retreat, moving from fear to freedom, spiritual retreat. That's going to be Sunday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Her retreats are amazing. Come and enjoy one of our one-day spiritual retreats hosted by the very talented psychic medium Deb on February 23rd from 11 to 4. She fully channels the retreat specifically for people who attend to break through your challenges and find enlightenment. This is one in a lifetime experience. So book now. You can do so on Facebook or go to refinedivinepsychic.com. Once again, it's called Moving from Fear to Freedom Spiritual Retreat. That's this Sunday. And then go to refinedivinepsychic.com. There you're going to see her other retreats, including this incredible cruise that they're going to do in November. And we're going to be starting to run some commercials soon about that, and really hope that we can help impact that to get more people to sign up, because we want to do our part to support the work that Deb and Dave are doing, because they're doing some really great stuff. And she is going to be back on. When is she going to be back on? She's going to be back on March 5th with one question readings. So lots to look forward to. You're thinking about that cruise there, Adam?
Actually, I am hoping the tax check looks pretty decent for the wife and I, because the prices her and Dave gave out on Wednesday, it's relatively inexpensive. It's
very good.
It's cheap in comparison. You would launch out of Texas, I believe, and then spending like 5 days out on the water and get to see some really cool places when the boat docks, as well as all the Deb events that will be going on as well. So yeah, definitely keep that in mind when folks are wanting to get out of Minnesota, or really anywhere you are, come November and it gets cold.
And we're not hearing about any problems with the boats, just the planes. So just saying, being for reals over here.
From here, it's 16 hours. Just hit 35 and go down.
And it literally is 35 all the way down. And who in the audience here would love to hear nightly GhostBox live from a cruise ship? I know I would. And I've got to talk to Deb and Dave on how we can make that happen and what we can do, because I would enjoy that quite a bit, quite frankly. Yeah. So, all right. So we got that. We'll be talking a lot more. I guarantee a lot more about that cruise as we get closer, as well as more of Deb's stuff coming up too. Yeah. I knew you all would like that. Oh yeah, we could do that. Yeah. You're damn right we can. My goodness. I wasn't sure what word I said there. Thank goodness it was only damn.
You used a good one.
Use one that's approved by the FCC.
You didn't use the Deb word. You used
yeah, right. Because for a minute I might have been channeling Deb there, and that would have been really well, you would have had your work cut out for you.
You would have seen me diving for the bigger
like just throwing something at the button to make it work. So question of the week, as we're zooming through this casual Friday. I love it. This is great. Question of the week though is because there's a couple really good answers in there. What subject in the paranormal do you think gets overlooked or needs to be talked about more? Let me go over to Facebook here, where we had a lot of people talking. Joanne said, where do all the lost children go, and how do they get closure? And Adam, where I went to right away was someone like Jacob Wetterling. Those are because we are led to believe when something traumatic happens in your life, and if you have a traumatic way of unfortunately dying, what that can cause you to not move forward, can cause residual energy, could be all sorts of different things. What happens there? And it makes me think that we want to get some folks on and kind of especially like mediums, and maybe even like a round table. What do we do, and what do they do in those situations? Because that exists, and that's very much that's such a great idea and a great response. I just thought, gosh, that's spot on to me.
It is, and that does sound like another GhostBox After Dark special. I think that would be a good topic.
Yeah.
Not just for children, but anyone whose life ended abruptly, mysteriously and things like that.
Yeah.
God, that was Joanne. Man, that's a deep one.
Yeah, no, that was
that never crossed my mind, but damn. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you, Joanne, for that one. That's very good. Lexi says, how are people religious but don't believe in the paranormal? I think that's a great one. And so I reached out to a Roman Catholic priest that I know, and I'd like to get him on the program because I and this is kind of an offshoot of this, but it's like it comes from the top, right? And so this Catholic priest, he's very much into the paranormal, but most I've run across are not. So how do we like why is it that you have some priests that do follow the paranormal and interact with it? Meanwhile, I'm reaching out to a church over nearby Rogers that they had this old schoolhouse, 3-story schoolhouse from the 1800s. They wouldn't let me in even to look inside it because they found out I was a paranormal investigator and thought I was going to be up to some sort of mischief or something in there. And now the schoolhouse has been torn down. So I never had that opportunity. And it's something that has always stuck with me because it's very unfortunate. But why do you have that sort of stand? Meanwhile, and I've seen this so many times, I don't know if you have, Adam, where you get that sort of response from anything in other religions as well. So I'd like somebody on the inside to give me an idea of what causes that. Yet some do and some don't.
Yeah, that always confused me because you're supposed to, you got the Holy Ghost. You're supposed to let the Spirit in, pray to all the angels and saints, and they're supposed to help you. Why I could never figure out why it was left to just those factions and not, an individual like you or I passing over.
Right. Now,
That never made sense to me.
Now, Courtney, with maybe a slightly more cynical view, says because they wouldn't make the church money. That's my opinion. I'll tell you though, I went to these people. This is back when I was making a lot more. I mean, I know it's hard to believe I'm not, rolling in the dough here at AM 950, but this is back when I was doing very well in advertising, and I reached out to this church and I said, I would like to make a very nice donation to you if you could let me just look inside, because I'm also really very much into architecture, into old buildings. I'm not going to, start, spray painting a pentagram on the floor in there. All I wanted to do was see inside this beautiful building that was very clearly that they came to the conclusion that they cannot keep it up in terms of, and I get that. So they had to tear it down, but, lost out on me going through and just taking incredible amount of pictures to keep what that place looked like alive, so to speak. So that's a bummer. That's too bad. So I guess even money wasn't strong enough for that. So there you go. Let's see here. Once again, what subject in the paranormal do you think gets overlooked or needs to be talked about more? Char Savoy, that you might have heard on such radio programs as this one. And you can also go to Charvinity Fairs this weekend, charvinityfairs.com. Grounding, protecting, and clearing. Know when to walk away. I could go on, but there's a class for that, which we just so happen to be both doing and teaching, and it's going on right now. And absolutely. And that's one of the questions that we get is like, how do you ground? And then know when to walk away. And knowing when to walk away really comes to play especially when it comes to something. If you're on a case and you think that there might be some sort of demon or dark influence in it, which is very rare, by the way, but if you think that, unless you are truly someone who can handle this, that is when you walk away. We've talked about this a billion times, but that's one of the great examples of when to walk away. And a lot of people, so many people, they see the TV shows and see certain investigators, emergency exorcism and whatever else, and they think that that's all it takes, and it doesn't. And there's so much more to it than that. And I think that that should be a conversation, and I think that's a great one as well. Let's see, what else do we have here? Nancy says, what resources are good in researching history sites, etc. Where are the best places to find historical documentation so that you can verify evidence collected during a paranormal investigation? I think that's pretty cool too. There's a lot. I think the thing is people might be like, well, there's plenty of resources on the internet. But I think what Nancy is looking for is something that you can actually be able to, basically validate as being real, opposed to, whispers that have been passed down from, years, and any sort of reality to it might have dissipated over the course of time. One other before we start heading off to the weekend here, Debbie says, red flags of the fakes. Yeah, that's what we call the litigation episode. And probably, I agree with you, Debbie, but I do not think that that's going to be something on my show, at least. Like, can you imagine, Adam? Hey, Chad, we had a great show last night, but we are being sued by a number of people that I called out. Is that going to be okay?
Oh, I'm sure it'll be fine. We're the highest rated show in all of AM 950 history.
Right, exactly. Well, and there's no Chris Cluey, but we're trying. So yeah, I mean, I just it's great. And yes, so many of us would love to be able to call out people that we just think are kind of milking it, kind of fake. But at the same time, personally for myself, that's not my place. That's not my role.
But you'll know what it is the last episode of GhostBox Radio on AM 950.
You will know. Funny enough, I was talking with Sarah Jane about that this week too. It's like, when I know it's the last episode, I'm going to call you on and we're going to have a real conversation about stuff. So
grab the napkins for all the spilt tea.
Absolutely. Come out, see me this weekend over at Charvinity Fairs. Go to charvinityfairs.com to get all the information. And you can also go out to Toma to see Deb do her gallery, as well as go to Refined Divine Psychic Medium on Facebook to learn more about her retreat, Moving from Fear to Freedom. A lot of great stuff this weekend. If you have the time, spend it doing something like that. I don't think you're going to regret it. We'll be back Monday with Rob Young from our new AM 950 show, Masters of Mystery. Adam, as always, thank you. We'll be back next week.
Come on, it's true. Work is